We are simply dramatically stupid. No? We act systematically against the evidences we have. We know everything that should not be done. There's nobody that doesn't know that. Particularly the big politicians know exactly what should not be done. Yet they do it. After what happened since October 2008, I mean, elementary, you would think, well, now they're going to change. I mean, they see that the model is not working. The model is even poisonous, dramatically poisonous. And what is the result? And what happened in the last meeting of the European Union? They are more fundamentalist now than before. So, the only thing that you can be sure of, that the next crisis is coming, and it will be twice as much as this one, and for that one, there won't be enough money anymore. And that is the consequence of systematical human stupidity. First of all, we need cultured economists again, who know the history, where they come from, how the ideas originated, who did what, and so on and so on. Second, an economics now that understands itself very clearly as a subsystem of a larger system that is finite, the biosphere. Hence, economic growth as an impossibility. And third, a system that understands that it cannot function without the services of ecosystems. And economists know nothing about ecosystems. They don't know nothing about thermodynamics, nothing about biodiversity or anything. I mean, they are totally ignorant in that respect. And I don't see what harm it would do, to an economist to know that if the bees would disappear, he would disappear as well, because there wouldn't be food anymore. But he doesn't know that, that we depend absolutely from nature. But for these economists we have, nature is a subsystem of the economy. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. And then, in addition, bring consumption closer to production. I live in the south of Chile, in the deep south, and that area is a fantastic area, in milk products and what have you. Top, technologically, like the maximum. I was a few months ago in a hotel there in the south for breakfast, and these little butter things, I get one, butter from New Zealand. I mean, if that isn't crazy, And why? Because economists don't know how to calculate really costs, To bring butter from 20,000 kilometers to a place where you make the best butter, under the argument that it was cheaper, is a colossal stupidity. Because they don't take into consideration what is the impact of 20,000 kilometers of transport. What is the impact on the environment of that transportation, and all those things. And in addition, it's cheaper because it's subsidized. So it's clearly cases in which the prices never tell the truth. It's all tricks, and those tricks do colossal harms. And if you bring consumption closer to production, you will eat better, you will have better food, and everything. You will know where it comes from. We may even know the person who produces it. You humanize the thing, but the way the economists practice today is totally dehumanized. There are some important scientists that already are saying and believe, I have not reached that point yet, but some believe, and state that it's definite. We are finished. We are finished. In a few more decades, there will be no humanity anymore. I don't think we have reached that point but I believe that we are pretty close to it. Others say that we already crossed, and it's irreversible. And if you look at it and what is happening everywhere, it's quite frightening. How the amount of catastrophes are increasing all over the place. In all manifestations, storms, earthquakes, volcanoes erupting. The amount of events is growing dramatically. It's really frightening. Principles, of an economics, how it should be, are based in 5 postulates and 1 fundamental value principle. 1, the economy is to serve the people and not the people to serve the economy. 2, development is about people and not about objects. 3, growth is not the same as development, and development does not necessarily require growth. 4, no economy is possible in the absence of ecosystem services. 5, the economy is a subsystem of a larger finite system, the biosphere, hence permanent growth is impossible. And the fundamental value to sustain a new economy should be that no economic interest under no circumstance can be above the reverence of life. Nothing can be more important than life. And I say life, not human beings, because for me the center is the miracle of life in all its manifestations. No? But if there is an economic interest, I mean, you forget about life. Not only of other living beings, but even of human beings. If you go through that list, one after the other, what we have today is exactly the opposite. Growth is not the same as development, and development does not necessarily require growth. Growth is a quantitative accumulation. Development is the liberation of creative possibilities. Every living system in nature grows up to a certain point and stops growing. You are not growing anymore. No he, no me. But we continue developing ourselves. Otherwise we wouldn't be dialoguing here now. So development has no limits, growth has limits. And that is a very big thing now that economists and politicians don't understand. They are obsessed with the fetish of economic growth. And many studies have been done. I'm the author of a famous hypothesis, the threshold hypothesis, which says that in every society there is a period in which economic growth, conventionally understood, brings about an improvement of the quality of life. But only up to a point, the threshold point, beyond which, if there is more growth, quality of life begins to decline. And that is the situation in which we are now. I mean, your country is the most dramatic example that you can find. I have gone as far as saying, and this is a chapter of a book of mine that is published next month in England, the title of which is Economics Unmasked. No? There is a chapter called The United States, an Underdeveloping Nation, which is a new category. We had developed, underdeveloped, and developing. Now you have underdeveloping, and your country is an example, in which the 1% of the Americans, are doing better and better and better, and the 99% is going down in all sorts of manifestations. People living in their cars now and sleeping in their cars, parked in front of the house that used to be the house. Thousands of people. Millions of people, have lost their things. But the speculators that brought about the whole mess, well, they are fantastically well off. No problem. No problem. I don't understand how there isn't... millions of people can all of a sudden go out in the street in the United States and begin destroying things. I don't know. That may perfectly happen. No? The situation is absolutely dramatic. Absolutely dramatic. And it is supposed to be the most powerful country in the world, and so on. And even in those conditions, they continue with those stupid wars, and spend more millions and trillions. $13 trillion for the speculators, not 1 cent for the people who lost their homes. I mean, what kind of logic is that?